Good morning, everybody. So today we are going to do some common elements that we're going to use on the laser. You're going to use elements of this editing your images for VCarve as well. And there is practical use for yourself in the way that you present yourself, guys. So your presentations going further, whether they be PowerPoints or Google Slides or whatnot, this is the kind of editing skills that you guys need to learn in a modern society. The way that you guys present yourself is everything. So for the point of today's lesson is that we are going to be setting up an image for our laser machine on our cutting boards or plaques or whatever projects we're doing, okay? So the first thing you want to do is open up Google, and then at the bottom of our Microsoft search engine here, we want to open up Paint. So you can type in Paint. I already have it here on my common programs. Then I want to minimize that. Okay. The first thing we want to do, the most common searched image in my 4 years of teaching has been the Toronto Maple Leafs. And what you want to Google in your search engine is logo. You can do black and white. I'm gonna show you guys how to edit a color image and how to search for an image that you might want to, again, laser or VCarve on your wood. If you don't know what that means, you will learn what that means in our course, right? So when I go Toronto Maple Leafs logo, after that I want to go to image, okay, and then that will give me all the images. As you can see, you're gonna literally have thousands of images here. So the way that you are now, when you go to the top here, when you're under image, you want to go to tools, and under tools, size wise, so it's going to matter where exactly you're putting your image. Okay, if you are doing something that may be a bigger plaque, right? So a lot of you guys are going to be doing smaller plaques as an introductory, so you don't really need under size a large image. The reason that we need a large image on something that will be big and maybe expanded is because the size of the image or the pixels, right? So you don't want, when you stretch a smaller image, to be pixelated. I don't know if any of you guys know what an Atari is, but an Atari is a gaming system where everything was just kind of like square blockheads, and you don't want your image to end up on, after you prepared this cutting board so beautifully. So we want a larger image for something that might be stretched or larger, okay? It doesn't hurt because we can make it smaller, and if it's detailed while it's large, it'll be detailed when it's small. So for instance, a cutting board like this, I might put the Toronto Maple Leafs logo here, and I might do maybe a family name over here, right? We do have the ability in RDWorks to make the whole size of the board and to do it, but I like to do it this way accurately. It makes it very accurate to be able to size it exactly where you want it, okay? So we have our cutting board. We want to put a Maple Leafs logo here and a family name here, and I'll show you guys how to edit that and format that image for ourselves, okay? I'm going to look for, size-wise, a medium image here, and then you'll see when you, all the images we have here, so I'm searching through. I want to do, I'm going to do the old school Maple Leafs logo here. And so I right click on it. When I get it up here, sorry, I left clicked, select, and then here I right clicked, and then I go to copy image, okay? So I copy this image, and you can see the pixels here, 726, it says in the corner by 944. That's a pretty decent image for what I need to do, right? So anything over 1,000, you have some pixels that are 2,000 by 2,000 images. Those are very large images, and they're very detailed. So if you want to put it on a huge plaque, that's how you would do it. So after I copy that image, I'm going to maximize Paint so we can see here a little better. As you can see on the outside here, we have cropping tools, right? So this is our overall canvas here. I'm going around here, right? And then what I do, you have in the bottom here, you have the top left here, I don't know if you can see it too well, but you have these, the select tool, right? So we're selecting the rectangular form. I'm going to put one here, and then I right click and I'm going to paste it there, okay? And I have my Toronto Maple Leafs image, okay? So in order to laser or to V-carve, we need to make this a black and white image, okay? So in order to do that, see, I right-click here, and then I have my image set, okay? As you can see here, you have your paint buckets here in the middle, right? I want to click on that. I'm going to select white. Why is my white not happening? Oh, I can hit undo here. Why is white not happening here? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit my black first, and I'm going to make, why is it not happening like that? So I have some editing to do here, right? So in selecting images, sometimes you're going to have some images that are easier to format, some aren't, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open a new canvas and just show you guys. You might have to do some work in choosing an image, okay? So let's go the hockey news image of the same image, and it's a 494 by 600. I'm going to copy that image. Let's go back to paint. So when you guys are doing design and whatnot, so I always like to use the example of, because in my class, some of us, we do that Nike shoe design. When designers are working on a project, let's say if you're a shoe designer, you're literally designing thousands and thousands of shoes before one of your bosses is going to choose exactly the design that you want. What's going on here? Why is my bucket, paint bucket? Oh, this one's even worse. Okay. It literally isn't working now when I'm doing my video. You know what? Maybe it is the Maple Leafs. Let's try. Let's try and do. I did my Montreal Canadiens one because I am a Canadiens fan. Logo. Okay, let's see what happens now. I'm going to do tool. Let's do a, actually, let's go black and white. Yeah, but I want to show you guys how to fill this in. Copy image. Going to paint. My rectangle. Okay. Now let's see if this will fill. Oh, see, when I miss there a bit, I gotta undo, and I make my image. See, it was the Maple Leafs. I'm sorry, folks. Okay. So now, as you can see, I have my image, nice black and white. Okay. So the laser is gonna laser the image where it's black, and the white will stay as so. Now, in order to make this, and you should do this whether you're doing V-carve or any other imaging that you're going to do, any formatting for an image, is that you want to crop it, right? So if you're putting this in a PowerPoint presentation, you want the canvas, which is, right, that outside white. You may think that it's not relevant, but it is, to be tight. Now, as you can see here on the bottom, I'm going to leave some space. I'm going to show you guys what you want to do here is you have here the text, right? So the text here, you have many different things that you need to choose here, right? So you have your fonts, right? You have an incredible amount of fonts. So I'm just going to choose a font for the sake of showing you guys. And this one's a little bit large. So I have the size of the font. I might go down to a different, and I'm going to put Suzuki, right? And I believe he's number 14, right? And what I'm going to do here, whoops, I got to actually put it on the canvas. So what I might do is just expand my canvas for now to make sure that I got it on there. Suzuki is on there, number 14. Okay. So regardless of the way that I got this here, I can zoom in and out, right? And I can see in order to edit this. So in order to make this pleasing to the eye and to give a design element, I'm not going to laser this. This is not going to look good on there, right? So if I don't place it properly, I use my selection tool here in the bottom. I choose rectangle, and I choose this, right? And I outline what it is that I want to edit, okay? And see, now I have the cross on there. I can, oops. Oh, I chose the bottom here. So you can stretch this up and down, right? And you always have the opportunity to do your undo button to get back to what you're doing, right? So again, when I choose my rectangle here, okay, I have the cross here. I can move this around wherever I want for editing purposes. So I kind of want to center this. And then you have the ability on the corner here to stretch it to scale, right? So to scale means in the exact same proportions. So you can stretch it to scale. You can stretch this, right, up and down, right? And you can stretch this left to right to the size that you want, right? So I'm going to move this over just a bit and up a bit, and then I might stretch this like so, okay? So now what you're doing, so let's say this is the image that I ultimately want to laser there. So if I wanted to put Suzuki number 14 in the one corner and the Habs logo in the other corner, I would make two separate files. But for the purpose of showing you guys how to edit, I'm just going to do it in one, right? So you know how to upload an image, you know how to prepare it for laser, and you know how to add text or whatever it is that you may want, right? So if I'm going to write, let's say I had a student write a Bible verse on a plaque and had to do it large, he would make his canvas large, and when he pulls up the font, he would make it the biggest size, the 72, and he would write it large, because you always run the risk, if you have to stretch it, that it becomes pixelated. But if you have to minimize it, make it smaller, when you get to the laser machine, then it will still stay detailed, okay? So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure that I crop this nice and tight, because that way, when I actually size it on my board or in the V-carve or whatnot, that I have the option of keeping it nice and proportionate, right? So if that canvas is left out wide, the sizing when you're doing the lasering will be according to the edges, these edges of what you cropped, not of the actual image. So this way, when we put it nice and tight, we can control the size of the image on our board, and it just makes it look that much nicer, okay? So let's say that this is what I'm going to put on my board. I cropped it. Again, the most common mistakes the student makes is not cropping it. I'm going to go to File. And always, you want to save it as a JPEG, whether you're uploading this to VCarve to CNC it, or if you are saving it for the laser machine. So our laser machine, it has to be a JPEG. So you save it as a JPEG. What I suggest, so you guys are going to have here, you have your OneDrive. You save it to your OneDrive. I would title this Habs Logo Laser. If I'm using it for the CNC, I would go Habs Logo CNC. That way I can edit. And never mind, like I was saying, for a Nike shoe designer, he might have thousands and thousands of designs. He's got to keep it organized. So it's not necessarily, I would save it on my OneDrive, and then after that, you are saving this onto a USB. So after you plug in your USB would show up here on the file, and then you'll be able to save it to the USB and on your OneDrive. Because if something goes wrong, then you have the capability of bringing it back up if you have to edit something. Maybe we test this. We're always running a test, and it's pixelated, right? So you got to come back here, and this is a very complicated design with 5 different elements, who wants to redo it all, right? Make sure you can come back to this and edit it, to bring it up and edit it at once, right? When you're talking about VCarve, you have the ability you can make kitchen cabinets, and let's say that there's a drill hole that you have to move. You can move it 3 millimeters and just move the one element, not have to redo your whole design, okay? So keep that in mind. Again, you want to make sure that your design, after you laser, maybe you're not happy with it, maybe it looks stretched, maybe the proportions are wrong, and you always have the ability to come back to your design here. So again, I want to go over the last points that I just want to reiterate is you're finding your image. You want to save as a JPEG. It's very important. And then you also want to save to your OneDrive as well, so you don't lose your image, okay? So you have the ability to come back to this video We will edit it to make sure that we have the different elements there. And you can always come back to this video and we'll continue with our V-carve videos and whatnot. Okay, good luck.